What is up, party people? First things first, welcome to the stream. Second things second, happy birthday, Hua Cheng! We need to say it as loud as possible so that he hears it, because I know he's walking among us. He and Shelian, they're still alive. They are immortal into the modern age, reading this book, thinking, haha, how funny. And he heard it. If you yelled, happy birthday, Hua Cheng today, he heard it. Yes, Kate. Oh my god. The Hua Cheng art that you're working on right now looks so beautiful. I believe in you. You can finish it for sure. Ghost Flames in the chat. That's so cute. Yeah, this is extra funny. Yes, I'm Lo Bingha in the chat wrote, Hua Cheng and my dad's birthday. Oh, it's Chandler Jones' birthday today too? Crystal Seeker said ate some red velvet cake in honor of his birthday. Oh, cute! That's so cute. Anybody else do anything? Kate's drawing art for him. They released a new Star Ember picture today for the next edition of the Chinese manhwa. Still new manhwa, no new manhwa content, but the picture is a new picture of Shelian, and we're gonna look at it. Miss Rosie, thank you so much for gifting a membership. I really appreciate that. How are you doing today? Okay, look at get a load of this, Gaga. I'll zoom in. Look at that. He looks like a little doll. Eating a watermelon with a little lotus pod hat. It's like, that does not happen in the book at all. When is Jalian ever enjoying the sun eating a watermelon? Oh, Cat's Cow says, it's also my partner and I's relationship anniversary. Oh my goodness, you're blessed by Hua Cheng. That's incredible. Your love must be real then. Orion says, it's perfect for Hua Cheng's birthday. I bet he loved it. I think so too. I bet he went feral for that. Emma, thank you so much for gifting a membership, Emma. How are you doing today, Emma? Thank you for spreading the good news to me. I really appreciated your DM. And Roan, thank you for joining my membership. Thank you so much. Cup Noodle Cat says he went to visit Wei Wuxian for watermelon and lotus pods. Cat's Cows says we've been a unit since 2009, so it's definitely true love. Oh my god, congrats. That's so cute. I'm so happy for you guys. Oh my goodness. Hua Cheng would give you the love seal of approval. Madeline says, how do I become a member? Madeline, you are already a member, actually. If your name is green in the chat, you are a member. You must have been gifted it. Broccoli Fox, what's up, dude? Miss Rosie says, LOL, finishing working the last day of school and live streaming the end of the main storyline for the Imperial Uncle. So doing pretty amazing tonight. That's great. How about you, Kictor? I am doing awesome. Today, Stitch and I went thrifting to get a little, like, kind of cosplay outfit for the Green Yuri because Stitch and I made a video on it today and it's so cute, and so we want to put together a casual cosplay for them. And so after that, we came home and I worked on getting all the YouTube shorts out to look at the new pictures in Run Wild and Case File, and then I edited the Green Yuri video and the behind the scenes for the Green Yuri video. A lot of editing today. I guess I did 4 videos today. And then, and it was so nice. It was so hot, and Stitch and I were sitting out on our porch. It was so beautiful. And then she made us lunch. She made us chicken strips. It was fucking awesome. And then I read a bunch of Case File. The newest volume is something, all right. I'm really enjoying it. It's very indulgent. Leo has been a member for 8 months and says, I'm almost born. Yes, 1 more month. Thank you so much, Leo. CSZL, thank you for your donation for the recap. Shang Xinghua tries to change Lo Chengge and Shen Qingqiu's fates. Shen Qingqiu changes too much. LQQ, Lo Chengge courts with snacks. Lo Binghe asks, oh yeah, because he gave them he gave them the 2, like, creatures to eat. Lo Chengge courts with snacks. Lo Binghe asks for love advice, and Mobijan and Shang Xinghua remain stupidly oblivious. That was so cute. Oh my god, I am on the Moshang train, like, wild right now. Kate says, I sent you the Hua Cheng whip. Pray for me. Okay, wait, let's look at this picture, Kate. Oh my god. Dude, he's so gorgeous! The colors in this are just freaking amazing, Kate. Oh my god, that's amazing. Oh, the birthday boy. Kate, that is amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Cucumber salad. Hey, I've been thinking about you today. Thank you so much for the insanity that was yesterday. Oh my goodness. Still sleepy from my stomach screening. This is like the perfect time for Scum villain reading. I'm feeling all nice and calm and cozy. Can't wait to see your reaction to the upcoming chapter. Oh my gosh, I'm very excited for the next chapter. Thank you for your donation today and for everything yesterday. I was literally thinking about your stomach screening today. So you're in Stitch and I's thoughts because I told her all about you, and just thank you so much. I'm glad that you're chilling and cozy and ready for a fun little stream. A Wild Boy has been a member for 17 months and says, I got a toothless plushie today. Very happy. Oh, cute. You know, I actually haven't seen How to Train Your Dragon. I know it's amazing. I'm sure I would love it. I just somehow never saw it. Stitch and I should probably... I think Stitch has seen it. We should probably watch it, though. Cork, are you kidding me? Cork says, catching the live from deep in the forests of the wild, aka fishing for a big river fishing at a big river for salmon. I've caught 3. Are you for real? You're literally tuning into the live stream while slapping salmons? That's so funny. Oh my god. That's hilarious. I love that so much. Thank you for letting us know that you're with the salmons. That's so funny. Hi, Mayan. Oh my goodness. Mayan, so good to see you. Thank you so much for being a Supreme member for 42 months, man. Oh my god, it's always a delight just to see you popping in to say hi and bye, heading into work soon. Oh my goodness, I hope you have a great time at work, man. Quinn, thank you so much for your donation. I'm late. I forgot there was scum tonight, so I was in the shower. My sister reminded me, so now I'm scumming with you in just a towel. Don't judge me. Oh my gosh. Literally moments before the stream started, I was like, I think, yes, I came in second. Stitch beat everyone at the Mario Kart World Tour thing, and it was like a minute to go. So no judgment. Rushing to the stream is just the nature of streaming. Sienna, thank you so much for gifting a membership. I really appreciate that. So kind of you, Sienna. I saw you on the Switch earlier. Cork, I'm still laughing over you're literally in the wild with salmon right now. That's so funny. Rose City Kimono says, I just got my copy of Legend of Exorcism in the mail. Today, I have 70 pages left of the main story of Stars of Chaos, and then I'll switch over to Exorcism. I can't wait. Oh, very good. Stitch just finished volume 2 of Legend of Exorcism. She is a freaking speed reader. And while she's reading it, she's also taking notes for the Dan May book club. There she is. I could see you. I could see your cute legs walk by. And she was telling me that it's quite not like exactly spicy, but it's like innocent spicy, I suppose. But how long can that facade of innocence go on for? We don't know. Quinn Silva says, it's a red towel if it matters. Well, red for Hua Cheng's birthday, so you're actually like, you're on. Oh, the sign isn't on. Oh my goodness.
One moment, please.
My remote for that lost, the batteries are dead, and then I couldn't find it. K Moment has been a member for 10 months. Thank you so much. 10 months, and it started because I was happy to see Dan May content, and someone gifted me a membership. I'm live. I love it here so much, I pay for it now. Oh, K Moment! That makes me so happy. I'm so glad that you love it and you decided to stay. That's incredible. Esper Lady says, I saw you were online playing Mario Kart. That is awesome. Esper Lady's like, girl, are you gonna make the stream? That's so funny. Guang Hui says, I found a really, really, really good friend just by talking about TGCF. This is definitely thanks to you. Thank you so much for a really good friend. Oh my god, that is amazing. The amount of people I know that have met incredible friends or partners through TGCF is insane. It's so insane. I've met so many friends through it. I've got to meet so many of you guys through it. It's just, it's awesome. It's a really special book, you know? It's really, really special. Zalian says, I emailed you a Hua Cheng birthday drawing. Let me see it. Oh, hell yeah, dude, that's awesome. That is sick. Look at that. That's from Zalian. Dude, that's awesome. I love how you drew Ming. That looks fucking sick. Hua Cheng would love that. Hua Cheng appears creepily behind you and puts his hand on your shoulder and says thank you, and then vanishes away. That's so sick. Thank you so much for sharing that. Blue Sketchbook says, I'm about to meet up with a friend for lunch to talk about Danmei 2. Oh, how BL brings us together. Right? It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I have hockey at 7:30, which means I need to be there at 7, which means I need to leave at 6:45. So I need to end the stream at like 6:40. No one let me forget that. Cork says, I sent a picture on Insta of the salmon I have so far. And a bear! What? Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, those are the salmon. Wow, congrats on catching salmon. That's great. Holy fuck, that's horrifying. There's literally... Oh my god. That bear wants your salmon. Oh my god. That's so scary. Oh my god, that bear's fucking huge. Oh my god, I am like terrified of bears. I used to be like pretty into hiking. Oh my god, so fucking scared of bears though. That is scary. Oh my god. Great catches though. Means you have the best spot. It's Mo Bear Jun. Kai says, almost missed the stream, but I luckily checked the time. Been looking forward to this all day. Happy Moshang days. Yes, the Moshang days. The 3 in a row Moshang days. I'm loving it so much. I can't believe there's more. Like, there's more Moshang? Like, I'm already so happy with what we got. Like, I could be fulfilled. I could go on my fan fiction, fan art journey after this and be so happy. But there's more? Girl. Afraid of bears, but twinks are okay? No, twinks are the ones you gotta watch out for. Trust me, I'm friends with a bunch of them. Zalian says, I also emailed you a Hualien wedding fic if you want to read it. It's really short and I'm really proud of it. That is awesome. I would love to check that out. Tina says, I wore my Moshang earrings today to celebrate another Scum day. Oh my god, what are your Moshang earrings? That's so cool. Oh my god. Wait until you finish the chapter. It's so good. Okay, okay. Oh my goodness. Horror Girl says, I got a Hua Cheng bookmark today and it has my favorite quote on it. I promise you will not find another person who is more sincere than me in this world. That is a great quote. That's a great quote. I love that. That's awesome. It's always good to have a bookmark that you really love. The one I've been using for all these little readings is my little mushroom one that Emma got me. Love it. Quinn Silva says, please set an alarm. Don't trust us to remind you to end the stream. Setting an alarm. Do you guys ever name your alarms funny things? I have a bunch of funny names for my alarms. This one will be... This one's called... Mobe Jun Can't Be Late to Hockey. All my alarms that are like for waking up early are like Victor Nikiforov would do it. And thank you for donating, Quinn. And thank you for donating Cork as well. Have you seen Alien Stage? Yes, I have. I love Alien Stage. Stitch, actually, bought red pants for her new Till cosplay, actually. Why were you late, BL? Always. The ice hockey X figure skater Moshang trope goes hard. Ooh, I could totally get behind that. Oh my god. Or Shang Hua being like the water boy for his hockey team. He's the team manager. Sienna says my wake up alarm is called Awaken Sloth. Leandra says my favorite bookmark is the Merman Manmer one from Disabled Tyrants. Yes, that's the most iconic frickin' bookmark ever. Hamster mascot. Oh god. Yeah, the school reporter ex-jock. That goes crazy. I love that. Oh my god. I love that so much. Kate says, since you're such a Scum villain fan now, who's your favorite ship? Bro, I am... Ugh! I could rant about this forever. Shen Qingqiu and Lo Binghe, I love that. Because I loved Shen Qingqiu. By the end of it, him and Binghe's connection was so pure. It was genuinely so pure. And their first time together, I loved that. I thought it was so good. The fact that he came to terms with loving Binghe and Binghe just being obsessed with him and getting to love him and getting that love returned. That also that like family love that he'd been searching for. He can find that in his partner and the romantic love and just being awesome and running off into the sunset together was like, I loved it. I shipped that so much. Lo Qingge and Shen Qingqiu. I love Lo Qingge. Like tsundere, powerful bitch. I just love that. And I can't believe we get so much background on them. Like, it's crazy. So that's, like, a really fun ship. Like, I really think it's, like, fun and, like, hot. And then Yue Qingyan and Shen Zhou. Such good angst. So fucking tragic. I love it. It feels like that has real love. Like, that had a real tragic love. I genuinely believe that was his red string that got cut. It's just so good. And then... There's a Shiba sleeping behind me. Moshang, I just love it. Like, super powerful guy who's kind of quiet. You don't really know what he's thinking, but he genuinely cares for the little guy. And the little guy's just fucking crazy and like, oh, I'll do whatever you want. Like, sucking up to him, having all these ideas. And they also, the last chapter where they both, like, admitted the things they do to someone to show, like, affection. And they're doing those things to each other. And nothing has been, like, said outright. Like, I love it so much. And then Mobe-Jun, however, was the one that literally put it all on the table and was like, so you do those things to someone that you like? Literally saying all the things that you do to me. And he's like, yep. So now Mobe-Jun thinks that Shang Qinghua likes him. Like, girl. I think those are all the ships that I can think of right now that compel me, at least. I know people ship the lesbians, but there was so far just that one scene. But also, I get just shipping the girls together, too. I haven't seen the rugby anime. Has that BL hockey manga come out yet? Kai says you will love the Moshang angst coming up. Oh, okay. Okay. Should we jump in? Kate says, I love that you're so into Scum Villain and you're cultured enough to be a multi-shipper. Yes. Quinn Silva says, speaking of lesbians, I'm gonna start reading Green Yuri tomorrow. Nice! Absolutely. It's so cute. I'm obsessed. Annika has been a member for 17 months and says, I sent you a Hua Cheng watercolor I did for his birthday. What? Let me see. Oh my god. This is so beautiful. Look at this. Oh my god. That, oh, sorry. That is so beautiful. I love that so much. I can't believe he's fondling Royer in that art. That looks really, really nice. He would also love that. He would love that so much. He'd be like, a fellow artist. That's so awesome. Oh my god, that's so cool. Thank you for sharing that. Natasha says, I mean, you can't really ship the girls with any of the guys because they're all in Shen Qingqiu's harem. Yeah. Okay. Part 4. Oh, it's not Royer, it's Shalian's hair tie. Oh my god. That's gay. Okay. In the end, it was still a whole ruckus. As Shang Qinghua had planned in his outline, Maigu Ridge exploded into a mass of flying sand and countless pieces of rubble with roiling smoke and clouds of billowing dust. Moreover, he performed a heroic feat on the way and saved Mobeijun, who didn't know how to fly. When he grabbed that hand of Mobeijun's in midair, Shang Qinghua could clearly see the astonished disbelief in his eyes. Understandable. Mobeijun undoubtedly held the firm belief that Shang Qinghua hung by his side solely to protect his own pathetic little life, and the human soul uses were, at most, flattery, boasting about him, and a target for venting his anger or whatnot. And if they ever met any real danger, Shang Qinghua would definitely be the first to run to save his own ass. To be honest, Shang Qinghua himself had also held this firm belief. He dared say he was even more astonished, even more disbelieving than Mobeijun. He acted, his heart acted first, his body acted before his mind. Ever since then, perhaps because he had earned merit protecting his master and had performed well, his wages, material benefits, treatment, and so forth had all improved, and he was also permitted to return to Tsangchong Mountain and visit his old home. Yue Qingyuan, that great philanthropist, let all bygones be bygones and even permitted him to return to Anding Peak, as well as to continue holding the title of Peak Lord. Wow. These past few days in the leisure house, Shang Qinghua had, for the first time, truly been leisurely, to the point of agitation. After munching on half a kilogram of melon seeds, he suddenly realized that the system hadn't made a peep in quite a while. For once, Shang Qinghua took the initiative to poke it. The system gave him an earth-shattering response. Objective completed. Downloading return home function. Shang Qinghua was speechless. After a moment, he began to furiously shake the system's non-existent shoulders. Objective completed. Return home function. What return home function? Is it the one I'm thinking of? Huh? Oh, great system. This is the first time you've said so many words. Can you say a few more? I'm begging you, quick. Basic completion of Proud Immortal Demon Way's original outline achieved. Slight deviation in romance plotline. Objective complete. Retrieving function to return to original world. Download complete. Activate return home sequence? Oh my god. He could fucking ditch him. Hey, Tawny! Yes, I love Moshang. Basic completion of the original outline that he agreed with. All the holes that needed to be filled had been filled, but this slight deviation of romance plot wasn't quite right. Bingo was now fully gay. How could you say that was a slight deviation? Ah, fine, fine. In fact, in his original outline, Binga hadn't even had a romance plotline. He had been doomed to fade away, alone and unaging forever. If you insisted on adding a romance plotline, alright, that was whatever. So putting aside all the system's rambling, this meant he could return to his original world? Tears streamed down Shang Qinghwa's face. He hadn't written in so long. He reminisced about his airplane shooting towards the sky account, with its fans and haters equally matched. Reminisced about that crowd of trolls in the comments section. Reminisced of the rich benefactors who'd given him tips. Reminisced about that laptop he used since his first year of university, eternally crashing and screwing him over. And the giant video files on the hard drive of... You understand. Oh my god. And then there was the spectacular pile of boxes and boxes of instant noodles behind his swivel chair, the newest flavor of which he hadn't yet gotten the chance to taste, even after buying it at wholesale price. A dialog box popped up in front of the system. Function download complete. Activate? Oh. 2 different colored buttons followed. Yes, maybe next time. Shang Xinghua had a powerful urge to press the red button on the left. Yes, but something stopped his hand. As it happened, he didn't really have any family on the other side. His parents had divorced early, each going their separate ways, and they had both made all new families for themselves long ago. He occasionally got together with them for a meal, but no matter which side it was, he regularly felt that his presence was extremely obtrusive. As he politely picked up food and politely gave them subservient smiles, the meals would be even more formal than they would have been if he were eating with real strangers. Even though his father was his legal guardian, when they weren't face-to-face, they didn't have contact other than a few phone calls on the New Year and holidays, or when his father asked him if he needed money. Sometimes his father would even forget to ask that, but Shang Xinghua never reminded him. No matter where he was or who he was talking to, all he did was smile that familiar subservient smile. He was an adult, after all. His parents still had to pay his university tuition, but it was up to him to find ways to pay for the rest of his expenses. It was when he was thinking of such ways that he happened to register for an account on Zhongjian and began to write. At the beginning, it was purely to vent, and he wrote whatever and however he wanted. Though the stories were unbearably shitty and even struggled to get monetized, he did manage to get good reviews from a niche crowd. At one point, it suddenly occurred to him to change his style and see if he could rescue his subscription numbers, which had dipped so low that the website editors had long since lost interest in asking after them. Thus arrived the instant hit, Proud Immortal Demon Way. Airplane shooting towards the sky had achieved supreme enlightenment. He had found his way. The more he wrote, the more of a shut-in he became, and the more of a shut-in he became, the more he wrote. As a classic worthless otaku, the people with whom he had the best relationships and got along with most were all on the internet, oceans and seas apart. He basically didn't have any friends like Mobe Jun. It would likely be very hard to find any again in the future. Wait. Mobe Jun? A friend? Since when has he started seeing Mobe Jun as a friend? Shang Xinghua scared himself with the thought, and he hurriedly grabbed another sack of Sanchao Peak's specially produced dragon bone cantaloupe seeds and binged another half of it to push down his fright. Then he went to sleep. Damn, I feel like that's such a realistically sad backstory. And him finding a friend in Mobe Jun is so sweet. When Mobe Jun dragged him off Anding Peak to the northern border of the demon realm, blankets and all, he had just finished his melon seeds and was dreaming, mouthful of salt. He dreamed he was devouring those promised kilos of shit. He was frozen awake. Mobe Jun tossed him to the ground, straight into the knife-like snowy winds of the northern border. His silhouette and expression were more severe than ever. Though Mobe Jun was quite cool, very cool, Shang Xinghua was already too frozen to have any time to spare on enjoying his coolness. His tongue started icing over as soon as he opted his mouth to grovel. So oh my gosh. Sorry. So he obediently shut his lips and started to crawl upright while shivering, wrapped in his blankets. An icy fortress rose from the ground ahead. Oh my god, is he bringing him to like his Elsa fortress? Mobe Jun set off toward it without a word, and Shang Xinghua hurried to follow. The fortress doors, laid from blocks of ice, rumbled open and closed. They met not a single person all the way down the long, deep flight of stairs, until they approached a sleeping chamber where a few guards and demon maids stood, not daring to make a sound. Shang Xinghua peeked at Mobe Jun's face. Though he was as haughty and aloof as usual, he looked somewhat more solemn than was typical. He couldn't resist the urge to ask, my king, how long will we be standing here? Mobe Jun didn't move his head, but his eyes turned towards Shang Xinghua. 7 days. Thank you for the bless yous. Shang Xinghua was nearly knocked flat by this information. Whatever. He was very possibly right about to turn home to continue shooting his airplane. He figured he might as well use these 7 days to properly bid his farewells. After all, once he returned, there would be no one to beat him up all the time or order him around like a beast of burden to wash clothes, fold blankets, serve teas, and carry water. After standing there for a while, he felt colder and colder. The Mobe clan's territory really wasn't suited for humans. Shang Xinghua jumped up and down in place to avoid being frozen alive into an ice statue. Mobijun looked at him, a smile seeming to flash through his eyes. He reached out and pinched one of Shang Xinghua's fingers. Quiet. It was like all the chill in his body was sucked away via this one point of contact. Stop. Girl. Shang Xinghua felt that cold was still cold. But it was no longer intolerable. He couldn't help but feel increasingly rueful about their upcoming separation and somewhat loath to give this guy up. Come to think of it, even though Mobijun had a bit of a bad temper, was a bit bad at life skills, was a bit pampered and spoiled, and liked to beat people up a bit too much, he wasn't too bad to Shang Xinghua. Especially at this point. His benefits weren't bad, and his salary wasn't bad either. Though the beatings remained a common occurrence, only Mobijun was allowed to beat him up. No one else was permitted to lay a finger on him. In addition, recently, Mobijun hadn't beaten him up very much at all. Shang Xinghua was growing concerned about his twisted standards as to what constituted a fortunate lifestyle. I see now the beat you up 3 times a day as a form of courting. He was definitely getting beat up 3 times a day. What would happen if he really returned home and Mobijun suddenly wanted to find someone to beat up, but Shang Xinghua was nowhere to be found? When he thought about this happenstance, he felt a pang of sorrow, like the melancholy of an actor leaving after a play was complete, all the props in place but the people long gone. Suddenly, a bone-deep chill returned to his body. Return where? Mobijun said icily. Shang Xinghua finally realized that in his sorrow he had actually spoken to his internal dialogue out loud verbatim. Now was the real time to be sorrowful. Oh my god. It's like that frickin' manga panel that's like, I think your speech and thought bubbles got mixed up. Mobijun's fingers tightened like he was about to snap Shang Xinghua's index finger in half. Now you're saying you want to leave? Shang Xinghua's face pinched in pain. No, not right now. Not right now? Mobijun pressed. What is it you always say to me? I'll follow my king for the rest of my life. He had said this phrase countless times, but he thought no one was taking it seriously. After a stretch of silence, Mobijun said, If you want to leave, then leave right now. You don't need to wait 7 days. Shang Xinghua started. My king, if I really leave, from this point forth, we'll never see each other again. Mobijun looked at him with the gaze of someone peering at an ant from 9 million feet above it. What makes you think I would care about that? Although over the years Shang Xinghua had trained his face to be impervious to sword or spear, these words made his expression pinch. He still wanted to explain a bit, but the situation had played out beyond his expectations. Get out. His body suddenly flew backward, and he crashed into an ice wall, which was solid as steel. The stab of pain only numbed his back for a moment before it spread through his guts. Mobijun didn't even lift a hand, didn't even spare a glance in his direction. Shang Xinghua's throat rapidly filled with a gush of warm, rusty-flavored liquid. Mobijun beating him up was nearly a daily occurrence, and he often told him to get out. Shang Xinghua should have been used to it, but at no other time had he been subjected to such an intense fury and loathing. Like countless times before, he crawled up from the ground, silently wiped away the blood at the side of his mouth, and gave Mobijun back a subservient smile that no one could see. After standing there for a while, he tried to speak again, but Mobijun impatiently snarled, Get out of here! Mobijun is so hurt. He's so upset. So, Shang Xinghua hurriedly got out. Honestly speaking, though no one could have known what he was thinking in the privacy of his mind, he still felt a bit embarrassed, specifically about that fleeting thought from before concerning Mobijun and a friend. Shang Xinghua trudged up the stairs. The guards and the demon maids he had seen earlier had been driven away, and they ran faster than him, darting out of the ice fortress like a swarm of bees. The chill remained the same, but the situation as he left was completely different from now as it had been on his arrival. At this time, a slanted silhouette approached, coming down the stairs. Shang Xinghua turned his head, gaze briefly flitting across a pair of peach blossom eyes full of frosty light. Though this pair of eyes didn't land on him, they sent Shang Xinghua into a fit of shudders, his heels gluing themselves to the steps. Then, furtively, he turned around and followed. Once the guards had been sent out of the underground ice fortress, it had been emptied of all demons. Mobijun doubtlessly thought Shang Xinghua had obediently gotten out, and thus didn't expect him to turn back. So by the time Shang Xinghua returned to the hall in front of that sleeping chamber, he had not yet been discovered. He stopped there and shimmied up a pillar so giant it could be encircled by 3 people, onto the ceiling rafters, and found a spot from which he definitely wouldn't be seen, where he sat down. However, though he definitely couldn't be seen by people below him, he couldn't see them either. "What are you doing here?" Mobejon asked in his cold and placid voice. He sounded like he was forcibly suppressing his anger. The next voice was that of an unfamiliar young man, who spoke with a smile in his tone. "My nephew is ascending to the throne. I came for a cup of celebratory wine. Is there something unacceptable about that?" Mobejon didn't answer the question. He snorted once and replied only after a long pause. "What celebratory wine is there to drink?" "After these 7 days, you'll be the real Mobejon," said the other voice. "Isn't that something worth celebrating?" Oh my god, was he bringing him to his coronation? Shang Qinghua knew both who this was and which plot arc, delayed after the original plot had been thrown into disarray, was now unfolding. Oh shit, Mobejon's in trouble! This uninvited guest was Mobejon's uncle, Ling Guanjun, and the one who lay in the sleeping chambers ahead was, without a doubt, the father whom Mobejon had seen only a handful of times since his birth. His body, that was. According to the original outline, after the reigning head of each generation of the Mobe clan died, they passed the 7/10 of their marital aspect to their next generation successor. Mobejon was at an extremely critical juncture. But, as Shang Qinghua had written in the original work, Ling Guangjun was using this precise occasion, the most critical and final day on which Mobejon was digesting the martial aspect, to launch a sneak attack. Because Mobejon had been lawfully determined to be the first in line of succession, Ling Guangjun had no claim to the martial aspect, and stealing it outright would have been useless. Illegal was illegal. The ancestral lines wouldn't acknowledge him. However, if Mobejon died after he officially ascended the throne, Ling Guangjun would be the only remaining descendant of the Mobe bloodline, so when that scheduled time came, the recipient of the 7/10 of martial aspect couldn't just kick back and relax. Oh shit! In the original work, Binga was by Mobejon's side during this, acting the part of the wolf in sheep's clothing and lending him a hand along the way, then undercutting the Mobe clan after Mobejon ascended the throne, as was only to be expected. But now Binga had haired off to shamelessly torment his shizen. Come on, how could he have the time to bother with this? So the person Mobejon had brought to help him was Shang Qinghua's useless-ass self? Shang Qinghua despairingly pulled his own hair. My king, you, what did you bring me for? I can't lift a hand. I can't carry your burden. How am I qualified to protect you? For this sort of life and death situation, you should obviously find a trusted confidant, your most impressive ally. So what if you had more hope of scraping Binga of his shizen than you did of scraping burnt caramel off a pan? At least you could borrow a few thousand black armored generals from him. No matter how desperate you are, you can't call on me other than to make tea, carry water, wash clothes, and fold blankets, exactly which of my other skills aren't amateur at best. Without the aid of the inextinguishable halo and plot armor Shang Qinghua had personally bestowed upon the male protagonist, at that fatal moment in 7 days, Mobejon would... You didn't bring a single person for this important occasion? Asked Ling Guanjun. Mobejon was silent before he coolly replied, I didn't. Oh, he brought Shang Qinghua to witness him ascend the throne? And then Shang Qinghua broke up with him? Oh my god. Ling Guanjun tittered. You did, didn't you? I saw. When I arrived, I encountered someone walking out. It was that Anding Peak Lord who said to follow you. How did he anger you? He'd been beaten into such a state, and here I heard those rumors that had me thinking your temper had changed for the better. For a long time, no one spoke. Oh my god, so even people noticed that he's been happier with Shang Qinghua around. Your uncle was only asking, why are you looking at me with such an antagonistic expression? Ling Guanjun's voice was all smiles again. I want you to leave, Mobejon said bluntly. You're hurting this demon's feelings. Unfortunately, our clan has no rule to prevent others from observing the succession ceremony. What's more, I am your father's younger brother. If not for you, the one standing here today waiting for their inheritance would certainly be me. Mobejon seemed to know he wouldn't be able to drive Ling Guangjun away, and he said no more on the topic. Ling Guangjun, on the other hand, was immensely pleased with himself. He didn't check his mirth in the slightest. Ah, you've grown up and you're going to be a lord now. You really have changed. You were much cuter when you were young. At these familiar lines, Shang Xinghua anxiously wiped the sweat from his forehead, feeling a bit ashamed that he had written such a shameless character. This uncle even had the face to bring up Mobei-jun's childhood. Mobei-jun had lost his mother very young, and the person to whom he had most closely stuck in his youth was precisely this youngest uncle, who wasn't much older than him. However, because of some conflicts and emotional disputes between the older generation of brothers, Ling Guangjun hadn't quite been able to begin liking this nephew of his. One time, when the other demons weren't paying attention, Ling Guangjun had coaxed his obedient little nephew out of the gate and thrown him into the human realm. He'd let a mob of cultivator thugs give chase to the little demon, who hadn't understood a thing and lost his head out of fear, falling every few steps as he fled. Those thugs had frantically hunted him down for days and days. At the time, developmentally speaking, Mobei-jun had been roughly equivalent to a human 4-year-old child. If after about 10 days his dad hadn't suddenly realized that his son hadn't been following his younger brother around for quite some time and hadn't casually made a few inquiries, Mobei-jun might have been locked up in the Huanhua Palace water prison until he simply died of fright. To a demon of that age, being surrounded by a shouting crowd of humans was like being surrounded by flesh-eating, blood-drinking monsters. Imagine a human 4-year-old child getting captured and imprisoned in a nest of demons. Their reaction would be about the same. That's so sad. The former Mobei-jun's head was as empty as a basin, where the basin was that of the Sichuan Basin. Either way, his son was stolen back in the end, more scared than hurt, and certainly not dead, so he didn't really pay the incident much mind. He scolded his brother a bit and then told him to keep getting along well in the future. After Mobei-jun was retrieved, messy-haired and dirty-faced, he never again spoke to his formerly favorite uncle. As his age increased, he grew more and more severe until he was, in the end, unwilling to speak to anyone and held a deep abhorrence for any kind of betrayal. Oof. Not him catching you about to betray him, the guy that really hates betrayal. Conceal, don't feel. Oh my god. As Shang Xinghua mentally reviewed the melodramatic back-end story of the aloof young lord he had fabricated, he also did some self-reflection. He mainly reflected on whether the demon race's cold and apathetic nature, which he himself had established, had been too inhumane. Secondly, he reflected on why he hadn't just added in a world-building line like, "No idle witnesses are permitted to be present at the succession ceremony, not even direct relations." If only he'd done that, Mobei-jun wouldn't have to be keeping such watch beside his father's body and waiting for the time of inheritance, unable to leave, but without good reason to drive away Ling Guangjun. Reflecting on one hand while trembling with fear on the other, Shang Xinghua passed 7 whole days until finally the last arrived. After the 7 days of observance, it was time for Mobei-jun to officially inherit the martial aspect. He had very wisely yet to move and begin the transfer. However, he would need to begin sooner or later. "What is it?" asked Ling Guangjun. "Why do you hesitate?" "Because you're standing right there." "Could it be you're afraid I'll strike you unawares?" Ling Guangjun asked. "How could I? I am your uncle after all." "Mobei, you have to hurry. If you don't start now, you'll miss the opportunity. There won't be another chance to salvage it. You don't need me to remind you of that, do you?" If he didn't begin immediately, the martial aspect would naturally dissipate, like a giant inheritance drifting away on the wind. But if he did begin immediately, Ling Guangjun would still be standing there like a tiger, watching its prey, unquestionably harboring ill intent. Mobei-jun's current situation afforded neither room to advance nor room to retreat. Everything was playing out like it had in the original. It was just that they were down an invincible Binga and up a useless ass Hua Di. He sat on a rafter for 7 days doing nothing, freezing his ass off. In the end, Mobei-jun let out a cold laugh. Shang Xinghua gritted his teeth and, braving the possibility of being discovered by a demon and losing his neck as a reward, stuck out his head. Just then, a ball of blue light flew out of the sleeping chamber and enveloped Mobei-jun, but practically in the same instant, Ling Guangjun suddenly played his hand. Already on guard, Mobei-jun spared a hand to catch this treacherous strike, but as he was preoccupied and thus a bit distracted, he let a wisp of demonic energy slip into his palm. This wisp of foreign demonic energy darted out inside Mobei-jun's body. Handling it would only split his attention further, and he couldn't risk growing careless. Realizing his first strike had succeeded, Ling Guangjun was wild with joy, but before he had time to advance another step, someone suddenly leapt out at him, dropping down from above. At first I wondered how there could be a guard here even after they were all sent away, Ling Guangjun said coldly. Aren't you the one who left 7 days ago? What, back to protect your master? You certainly didn't look this devoted. It was fortunate that Shang Qinghua hadn't been able to see him at first, because as soon as he did, his legs went even weaker. Though Ling Guangjun was quite good-looking, it was that soft but treacherous type of good-looking. The pair of peach-blossom eyes flashed with frosty light like poisonous needles. When he smiled, he revealed a hint of ominously pale teeth, the kind that were especially suited to tearing through raw meat. Shang Qinghua braced himself and stood in front of Mobeijun. First, who said I came back to protect my master? Second, who told you he was my master? Then why are you standing in my way right now? Ling Guangjun asked. I'm kicking him while he's down, Shang Qinghua said forcefully. As he continued running his mouth, he pointed a shaking hand at his own face. Take a look. He beat me into this sorry state. This nephew of yours really has a temper. Behind him, Mobeijun spat out a mouthful of blood. It was 100% a product of pure anger towards Shang Qinghua. In all these years, the ribs I've broken could build another Maigu ridge, and I could drown myself in the blood I've coughed up. Shang Qinghua lamented. Devoted towards this kind of person? This kind of demon? Who the fuck could be devoted? After how he's treated me, if I, Shang Qinghua, could suffer in silence and swallow my anger without retaliation, how could I call myself the ending Peak Lord? As Shang Qinghua said this, he absolutely didn't dare turn back to see Mobeijun's expression. His back was about to freeze over. Ling Guangjun laughed out loud. Mobe, do you hear this? I actually feel bad for you. You're doomed to be sold out and betrayed. How can you command the Mobe clan like this? If we really let you succeed the throne, with your disposition, wouldn't our clan forever be on the edge of collapse? You should listen to your uncle. Relax and hand the important matters to me. Why don't you just go? On the verge of achieving his cherished dream of many years, Ling Guangjun was in a magnanimous mood. He turned to Shang Qinghua and asked generously, And how do you plan to kick him while he's down? With a chortle, Shang Qinghua activated a fire spell and flung it behind him. A burst of sizzling heat hit Ling Guangjun directly in the face, and a red light danced madly before his eyes. The icy Mobe clan loathed flame more than anything, especially this flame, which appeared not to be mundane fire, but a fire that Shang Qinghua had shamelessly asked Shen Qingqiu to make for him from a few grains of black sun tinder. A few grains of fear were mixed in with Ling Guangjun's loathing. He swiftly retreated and covered his face, somewhat astonished. I had no idea that stupid and cowardly ending Peak Lord of Rumor was actually such a ruthless character, he thought. I heard this Mobeijun was quite good to him. Who would have imagined that this guy was silently enduring it all for so many years? Oh my god, he thinks Shang Qinghua is the one abusing Mobeijun. Fry him like de-noodles! De-noodles. And the moment he played his hand, he was so vicious, using a mortal flame to burn Mobeijun alive. It won't be a simple death either. This fire would probably burn him straight to ashes. If Shang Qinghua had used the spell on Ling Guangjun at the moment, he would also be in quite the sorry state. He shuddered to think that the human might still have a few grains of that fearsome tinder, but whether he had them on or not, Mobeijun had no hope of survival. However, once Ling Guangjun was certain in his calculations and straightened his posture to look, he was instantly enraged. Mobeijun hadn't been devoured by the raging inferno. Instead, he was shielded between cluster of flame. At that moment, Shang Qinghua hadn't thrown his handful of tinder onto Mobeijun's body. He had drawn a large circle of approximately 10 square meters around him. The leaping and dancing black sun immortal fire encircled the two within. Fuck yeah! Though Mobeijun couldn't exit the circle, neither could Ling Guangjun enter. Look at this. He's so handsome, even when he's on the ground. Badass little hamster. He's so cute. Oh my god. I love this art. If he attempted a long-distance attack, the fire would melt his ice spells. When he examined it again, this didn't look like an attack spell at all, but rather a protective circle. A sea bear circle. He realized that he had been tricked. Ling Guangjun's face darkened. The vicious demonic energy that Ling Guangjun had slapped into Mobeijun was still running rampant through his entire body and causing him trouble. He had fallen to one knee, face alternating between green and white, unable to spare the effort to give anyone a single glance. Shang Qinghua circled him, flustered, but he couldn't assist. At a distance, Ling Guanzhen paced around the circle of black sunfire, sneering as he walked. I misspoke earlier. You're far more than devoted. You're practically faithful to the core. You're willing to come back and throw away your life for this disapproving nephew of mine? But I wonder, how long can your circle last? These words jabbed Shang Jinghua right in the sore spot. He had thrown all the tinder Shen Jingzhou had given him in one go, leaving not a single spare splinter. He squatted by Mobeijun's side to frantically, but rather uselessly, cheer him on. My king, do you hear? He wants to kill me. Your uncle wants to kill me. You have to digest it faster. I really don't know how long the circle will last. It's like he could be as badass as long as possible, and then the moment... Yes, Anna K, I'm glad you got that reference. The moment he ran out of badassery, he went back to please, 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 please. Kate says, I'd argue he's handsome because he's on the ground. Oh my god. Suddenly, with a giant crack of splitting stone, icy dust and frost fluttered down from overhead. Shang Jinghua lost his footing and he swayed a couple of times with the leaping flames. Only then did he see Ling Guanzhen remove a hand from one of the pillars in the corridor. You thought that if you didn't come out, I'd have no way to get you? He asked. He planned to collapse the ice fortress and either crush Mobeijun to death or bury him alive. An ominous web of cracks snaked up the ice pillar. With Ling Guanzhen's second strike about to hit, Shang Jinghua said hurriedly, Coming! Coming! I'm coming right now! So, like a long-suffering frog jumping into a deeper fryer, he slowly hopped out of the circle. Once he was out, he had no hope of getting back in. Agile as a specter, Ling Guanzhen grabbed him with one hand. What's the use of you coming out alone? Withdraw the fire! In fact, Ling Guanzhen was also a touch flustered. He didn't know how long it would take Mobeijun to suppress that bit of demonic energy. If he was able to do so before the Black Sun fire burned out and finished digesting the martial aspect, today's rebellion would be nothing more than a giant farce. I only know how to set fires, not put them out, said Shang Jinghua. That's like such a cool guys don't look at explosions line. Then make him come out. Well, my lord, look at the state of him. Even if he wanted to, he couldn't move. Ling Guanzhen sneered, putting his hands on Shang Jinghua's solar plexus. Then say, he said amicably, if your heart were to start freezing over, would he have the sudden impulse to come out? Oh shit! Oh shit! He's like, I see what you're going on here. Your little devotion here is a little gay. Oh god. Shang Jinghua, he's not going to think he'd be a worthy hostage, but he is a worthy hostage. Ah! Come out. Oh my god, where the hell is my spot? If your heart were to start freezing over, would he have the sudden impulse to come out? If that kind of thing can be broken through on sudden impulse, I recommend my lord try having a sudden impulse to see if he can do just that. And then he couldn't get out another word. Ling Guanzhen quietly hummed an ice spell, his tune cheerful yet malicious. Mobe, your uncle really didn't expect you to have a dog who refused to betray you, even in these circumstances. Wouldn't it be a pity if you were to lose such a good hound? Bye, Miss Rosie! Near his heart grew a field of ice and snow. Shang Jinghua, lips turning purple, raised his hand. My lord! Speak. If you're going to freeze my heart like this, I can't scream aloud. It doesn't sound miserable enough. You won't get the sudden impulse that you want from him. I advise you to hit me instead. I promise I'll do my best to scream very miserably. Oh, but I'm very heavy-handed. If I can't control myself and beat you to death, what then? It's no problem. I can take it. I'm used to it after suffering your nephews. Before he could finish speaking, Shang Jinghua personally experienced how heavy Ling Guanzhen's hands could be. He didn't use demonic energy, preferring to rely entirely on physical strength to attack. However, Shang Jinghua clearly heard the sound of his every broken rib, as well as the sound of his throat hissing like it was leaking air after spitting up too much blood. As his back teeth started to faintly loosen, Shang Qinghua decided that, compared to his uncle and other demons, Mobeijun was goddamn fucking gentle, even amiable, practically a little angel. The longer he dragged this out, the more Ling Guanzhen's impatience inched towards fury. He stepped firmly on Shang Qinghua's back and wrenched up one of his arms, grinning savagely. Didn't you promise you would try your best to scream very miserably? And yet your mouth is so secure that you haven't let out a single sound. This position had some extremely bad associations for Shang Qinghua. He hurriedly spat out the bubble of warm blood held in his mouth and screamed with great sincerity. Ling Guanzhen hummed. Not bad. It's a pity, but that's still not miserable enough. I'll help you out. From Shang Qinghua's shoulder came the terrible pain of flesh and tendons ripping. Oh God! He opened his mouth, letting fear drown him, but he found he couldn't make a single sound. Yet this pain didn't develop into an unsalvageable outcome. Suddenly, the arm that had been yanked behind him dropped limply down. A corner of deep blue robe flapped in front of him, its collar billowing with wind and snow. Mobeijun had caught them off guard, diving out of the fire circle to land a palm squarely on Ling Guanzhen's solar plexus. Right back in the solar plexus! Oh my God, hell yeah! Right here. After being waylaid by his strike, half of Ling Guanzhen's chest collapsed, demonic energy streaming out of it like a giant hole had been punched through his whole body. His heart chilled. This youngster's prior ability and the power in that strike could not be spoken of in the same breath. The delay had been long enough. Mobeijun had absorbed all the martial aspect the Mobi clan had passed down over generations. Fuck yeah! On top of that, he no longer feared the Black Sun Immortal Fire. He'd leapt straight through it. Though Ling Guanzhen was full of dissatisfied resentment, he was by this point no likely match for Mobeijun. He could only hurriedly use ice to seal his own wounds, transform into a stream of black wind, and steal out of the ice fortress. That bitch got away! Shang Qinghua, lying with his face pressed to the ground, didn't see any movement for a long while, and no one came to help him up. Is he still mad? He mourned internally. No matter how you look at it, I was beating to a pulp for you, and you're not even helping me get up? This is just inexcusable! Then he heard a heavy slam. Grimacing in pain and with incomparable difficulty, Shang Qinghua turned over. Mobeijun had collapsed too. Two figures, fallen in different postures beside a raging circle of fire, lay quietly, collapsed like dead NPCs. How romantic. Shang Qinghua finally realized that Mobeijun most likely had, in fact, not finished absorbing his clan's martial aspect, nor had he suppressed Ling Guanzhen's demonic energy. Moments ago, he really had been taken by a sudden impulse and fought with all his strength to scare Ling Guanzhen away at the last moment. Now Mobeijun had exhausted his final ounce of energy and had moreover been roasted to a crisp by the terrifying Black Sun Immortal Fire, so he had collapsed like a dead NPC. Oh my God! Oh my God. The power of love made him act crazy. Though Mobeijun was lying straight and stiff on the ground, unable to move even a finger, his eyes were still forcefully glaring at Shang Qinghua. Under that stare, Shang Qinghua was no longer able to continue lying there at ease. He could only open his mouth to say, "That is, my king, you, don't struggle, just lie down and slowly absorb it. The combined power of lords accumulated over generations isn't the sort of thing you can swallow down in a single gulp." That gaze didn't subside in the least. Shang Qinghua's heart pounded like he was being showered with rains of needles. He finally managed to catch his breath and sit up, already trembling like a Parkinson's patient. Now Mobeijun would finally have to listen to him. He took a deep breath. My king, in fact, in the first place, I didn't want to leave at this sort of time. I really didn't know that it just so happened to be a key moment when you were about to succeed your father's position. Why didn't you tell me about it earlier, when it was something so important? Mobeijun used his expression to say, "Kneel down, cry, and admit you were wrong, and then I'll pardon you." The corner of Shang Qinghua's mouth twitched. "To tell the truth, you shouldn't have brought me," he continued. "I can't do anything at all. I can barely serve as a punching bag for you to beat up from time to time. You saw me just then. I was thrashed this badly, and I only bought you a bit of time. But you seriously injured your uncle, and he probably won't dare come back again. You're almost done digesting it, right? So I'll just leave first." Mobei-jun's expression had eased a bit, but upon hearing this last sentence, cold light beamed from his eyes. You're still leaving? You dare! Oh my god, guys! Ah! Having suddenly been bellowed at and still hurting from head to toe, Shang Qinghua was overcome with rage. He slapped the ground and yelled, "What don't I dare?" As one would expect, the strike couldn't scare Mobei-jun, and it only made his own shoulder and arm explode with pain while stars burst in his eyes. Either way, Mobei-jun couldn't move a limb, and Shang Qinghua grew bold in his fury, pointing at him. "I'll tell you the truth then. I've endured you for too long, you pampered, spoiled young master, you vile-tempered, demonic second gen." This was a monstrous degree of audacity. Mobei-jun's face was full of disbelief, but Shang Qinghua's many years of accumulated grievances continued to spew out in this moment with the power of an arcing rainbow. Pride Month. You saw that I had a good temperament, that I was easy to push around, and also that my cultivation was lacking, so I was fun and satisfying to torment, right? You thought I was really what are you looking at? You gonna argue with that? I'm your dad. Call me daddy. I was just indulging you. Go on and try this with someone else, huh? Bingo would beat you to death, and the original flavor Shenjingcho would shade you to death. What? He's really losing it. Oh my god, oh my god. Dear Z, thank you so much for being a member for 10 months. Dear Z says, glad I can make it to Alive again, even though it's late. I hope you and Stitch have been good. And woo, 10 months. Time sure does fly by. Thank you so much for being a Supreme member for 10 months. We're having a lot of fun with the read-through right now. I'm glad that you could come by. Oh, man. What are you looking at? You gonna argue with that? I'm your dad. Call me daddy. I was just indulging you. Go on and try this with someone else, huh? Bingo would beat you to death, and the original flavor Shenjingcho would shade you to death. No one likes getting beat up every day, and no one would actually be all cheery after getting beat up every day. I'm not actually a dog. Even with a dog, if you kicked it twice a day, given enough time, it would learn not to bother with you anymore. Mobei-jun said, "Do you want to die?" Under the circumstances, the intimidation factor of these words had suffered a huge loss in value. "I don't," said Shang Qinghua. "And not only do I dare leave, I dare do other things. Would you believe it? This Peak Lord will, right here, right now, beat you back for every time you beat him before." "You," Mobei-jun said angrily. You what? You dare? Again? I'll tell you right now what I really do dare. Come at me." With this, Shang Qinghua rolled up his sleeves, eagerly shaking a fist in front of Mobei-jun's ashen face. "Yeah, come on. Cold blades shot from Mobei-jun's gaze, but Shang Qinghua wasn't frightened in the slightest. His fist swung in a strike straight towards Mobei-jun's head. On instinct, Mobei-jun averted his face, only to feel the skin of his cheek tighten. It was a very familiar feeling. A bit itchy, a little bit painful, but entirely not the expected strike. Two of Shang Qinghua's fingers had pinched his cheek on one side and forcefully pulled. "How's that? Does it hurt?" Stop. While pulling, he thought, this is not what I was fucking thinking of doing. Beat him. Yeah, beat him when he can't move, tugging on his face and letting him off with just that. No matter how you look at it, you'll be getting the short end of the stick. But there was nothing to be done. Sure enough, Shang Qinghua still couldn't bring himself to beat that face. Cheek being pulled at as it was, Mobei-jun's words were unclear, but he persisted to say, "You're done." Shang Qinghua cackled. "You have backbone. You can still threaten me in this state? Daddy admires you." His other hand joined in, pinching the other side of Mobei-jun's face. Sometimes he pulled those cheeks in opposite directions. Sometimes he pressed them together. Mobei-jun's formerly aloof and noble image was wrecked, utterly exterminated by this treacherous pair of hands. All through it, Shang Qinghua was repeating, "Does it hurt yet? Does it hurt?" Oh my god. Mobeijun refused to yield his lofty air, but it was to no avail. Things like psychological tears could not be suppressed by lofty airs alone, and in the end, his cheeks were pulled until tears emerged at the corners of his eyes. It hurts? That's right. Shang Xinghua released his claws. When you were beating me all the time, it was at least 10 times as painful as that. How does it feel getting tugged on? Spoiled! Mobeijun's face went white with fury at this contemptuous spoiled, and his cheeks were covered in green and red fingerprints. It really was a sight to shock the eye and astonish the heart. When it came down to it, Shang Xinghua was in truth a coward. He had just committed a crime of passion and had his bit of fun, but after the fact, he began to fear being sent to the crematorium, especially when Mobeijun's face had recovered its normal shape. His expression was truly... Shang Xinghua's heart quailed at the mere sight of it. He hurriedly patted his hem, preparing to break into a run and leave. He had skidded a few large steps away at meteoric speed when Mobeijun shouted at his back, "If you want to keep your legs, stay there and don't move." On reflex, Shang Xinghua obeyed the order. He didn't dare turn around. "My king, I really am leaving." "Shut up! Come back!" Shang Xinghua continued, unimpeded. "Even if you're angry, don't come looking for me. After I return, you absolutely won't be able to find me again, so don't spend energy on a useless effort. So, my king, bye then." Mobeijun was nearly roaring. "If you have the guts to leave, then never let me see you again." Shang Xinghua turned a deaf ear. After a few steps, he added one more line. "I was very happy to meet you. Really. You're even cooler than I imagined." At this moment, he was in high spirits, radiant with delight, and wearing precisely the same expression he had worn in the split second he first set pen to paper to describe this character's first appearance. When he reflected on his true emotions and honest feelings toward the chapter under his pen, this really was embarrassing. Although, with parting near at hand, embarrassment was but a fleeting thing. Oh my goodness gracious. Grease and Noir, thank you for your donation. The audacity of MXTX to give Mobeijun a humiliation kink. Ah! I can't believe he literally had to call out to him saying don't leave. There's still more. There's just a paragraph break here. Ecstatic upgraded to Supreme membership. Thank you so much, Ecstatic. I'm ecstatic. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Shang Xinghua's daddy. Bet you didn't see that one coming. I didn't. I must say I do like my king and daddy. Shang Xinghua pinching his cheeks and asking him to call him daddy. This is Moshang at its finest. That was ridiculous. I was happy to meet you and you're so cool. Oh man. I just feel like Mobeijun must just be so confused right now. Shang Xinghua just didn't understand. Where was his agreed upon parting near at hand? Why was it that it had been a whole month since the system released the return home function, and yet he was still idling his life away in the world of proud immortal Demon Way? Every time he poked open the system and faced the red and green yes and maybe next time, he consistently ended up spacing out, then clicked the button on the right and closed the interface. Next time on top of next time, just a whole bushel of next times. Shang Xinghua blamed this on chronic procrastination. All that is evil, thy name is procrastination. He didn't dare return to Sangchong Mountain for the time being. He didn't know if Mobeijun was angry enough to go to Ending Peak to head him off. But half of his savings were stashed in a cave in Ending Peak, and the other half was in Mobeijun's official residence on the northern border. So this past month, though Shang Xinghua looked at ease, he had actually been living frugally, dining on the wind and lodging under the open skies. If not for that bit of spiritual energy he still had to depend on, there wouldn't have been much difference between him and a common vagrant. After wandering for nearly a month, he unexpectedly ran into a certain master-disciple pair while they were enjoying a leisurely scenic tour around the world. Oh my goodness. After realizing who they were, Shang Xinghua couldn't resist rubbing his eyes. After a minute, he finally confirmed that the young man in plain cotton clothes, still dignified of comportment while carrying a fishing rod and hefting a basket of fish, was Lo Binghe. And after another half a minute, he confirmed that the other, who persisted in putting on his poser act of refined immortal airs to the very end, even while carrying boxes of food to deliver his own meal, was Immortal Master Shen, Peak Lord Shen, Shen Qingqiu. Oh my god, fishing date! Wait, where's it? Are they getting salmon? They're literally you. You're here doing this cheerful, romantic, cottagecore roleplay while you just left Mobei-jun alone in the demon realm and made me force myself to step up. How tragic. My fate. Grumbling to himself was one thing, but how should he put it? Seeing those two still made him very happy, especially because he hadn't eaten a full meal for days. Don't complain about an immortal cultivator like him still caring about things like eating a full meal. The comment section had roasted him enough. He wasn't from Kung Sing Peak. He didn't play around with Anidia. As their cottagecore life had been disturbed by someone for no good reason, Lo Binghe naturally had no good looks to bestow upon Zhang Xinghua. On Shen Qingqiu's behalf, he wouldn't show it on his face, but when, after exchanging a few greetings, Shen Qingqiu told him to go sit down inside, Binghe's expression darkened. These two had, quite sentimentally, built a small bamboo house in a location between jade waters and green mountains. The longer Shang Xinghua sat, the more he felt that these two really were quite well off. As he lounged on a rattan chair, he said, "The house isn't bad." Shen Qingqiu waved his fan. "Why don't you consider who built it? Could it be bad?" Shang Xinghua thickened his face, shameless. "Your days truly have been much more comfortable than mine. Would it be possible to let me catch a whiff of Cucumber Bro's fortune and enjoy a touch of this carefree life for a while?" "It's most unfortunate, but you've come at a bad time. We were just about to eat." "You're too kind. Arriving early can't beat arriving on time. I see I came at just the right one. I'll see how your food is." With that, he rose and walked to the door of what he suspected was the kitchen, where he lifted the curtain. Lo Binghe, wearing a light black robe, his sleeves rolled high and expression severe, was currently, silently, kneading dough. He was all grim concentration, with 2 patches of white on his face and a bit of flour on his eyelashes. Like what he was pinching and pulling in his hands wasn't a ball of dough, but a scroll containing his grand ambitions to unite all the realms. No, 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 no. Shang Xinghua felt his guts were splitting open in dismay. Achoo! Achoo! Oh. Achoo! Allergies. The protagonist he had created, the Binghe who emanated pure tyranny as he conquered the multitudes of stallion male protags. He was kneading dough, making noodles, 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 noodles. The noodles. Le Binguini. This really was an indescribable fright. Shang Xinghua silently retreated in defeat. He sat at the table and reached out to find a cup of tea to drink and drown it in that fright, but it was fished back by Shen Qingqiu. Mine. Shang Xinghua's heart was still palpitating. Oh, 1 second. Shang Xinghua's heart was still palpitating. "Do you have a second cup in this house? What's wrong with letting me use it?" Shen Qingqiu pointed at the kitchen. "You well know that there isn't a second cup, so it's also his." Shang Xinghua was silent. "You dare to use it? If you would, I'll give it to you." Shang Xinghua's hands changed from pulling to pushing. "Your Honor can have it all to himself. Unfortunately, I cannot partake." Binghe continued to cook while the two chatted about this and that. After listening to Shang Xinghua relay the tale about the emergency at the Mobei clan's ice fortress, Shen Qingqiu expressed his doubts. "Really? Just like that? What reason would I have to trick you about this sort of thing?" Shang Xinghua asked. "And what do you mean, just like that? My dignity was at stake. Of course I couldn't stay any longer." "That's not wrong per se," Shen Qingqiu thought, but then said, "But you never seemed like that sort of person." "What sort of person?" "The kind who would care all that much about dignity," Shen Qingqiu said amiably. With the strength of airplanes shooting towards the sky's resolve, the thickness of his face, and the tenacity of his vitality, he really hadn't seemed the sort to run after a single beating from Mobei-jun. After all he had endured all those years before, how could he suddenly become weak and sensitive? and been overcome with emotion. Cucumber bro, Shang Qinghua said, embarrassed. Sure, I never hesitated to sell out my principles to get upvotes and tips. I only incidentally became ending peak lord, but if you judge me for all that, you'd be the one in the wrong. Aren't those two things you've just cited quite compatible with the conduct I'm judging you for? Yeah, be a bit nicer to me, a bit gentler, okay? Cucumber bro, tell me, when would it be best for me to return to the modern world? You really want to return to the modern world? Shen Qingqiu asked. So shooting your airplane too often really is bad for your eyesight. You can't even see the crux of your own problems anymore. Wake up. You're just waiting for him to apologize, then scoop you back up and continue to lightly beat you 3 times a day. He said it! He said it 3 times! Oh my god! Clocked! He knows. Oh my god. Before they had finished chatting, the meal was served. Lo Binghe carried over 2 bowls of noodles. White noodles and red broth, fresh and oily chopped green onion, and topped off with a pile of tender slices of meat. The presentation was unspeakably exquisite, but Shang Qinghua wouldn't get grabby. Without even needing Binghe to open his mouth and say it, Shang Qinghua required only a seemingly nonchalant glance to understand that there was no portion for him. Shen Qingqiu sighed. See, I told you it was a bad time. After all, this was the food Binghe had made with his own hands. Not just anyone had the right to eat it. Shang Qinghua didn't have anything to say, and he shrank to the corner of the table so pitifully to watch the pair across from him split their chopsticks. Later, when Shen Qingqiu finally couldn't stand to watch anymore, he put a piece of meat in Lo Binghe's bowl while holding back a smile and finally lent him some mercy. Forget it. No more teasing. Your Shishu has been pitiful enough recently. Don't bully him anymore. Later, when Shen Qingqiu finally couldn't stand to watch anymore, he put a piece of meat in Lo Binghe's bowl while holding back a smile and finally lent him some mercy. Forget it. No more teasing. Your Shishu has been pitiful enough recently. Don't bully him anymore. Lo Binghe put that piece of meat in his mouth and said, without lifting his head, "There's more in the pot." Shang Qinghua giddily went to the pot, shovel in hand. As he held the noodles, he slurped until his eyes were brimming with hot tears. For the first time, he had the deep-seated feeling that the most reliable thing in the world was indeed the friendship of Peerless Cucumber, his comrade from the same hometown. After he had mooched a meal of incomparably delicious noodles, Shang Qinghua was already pleased beyond his expectations, and it entirely did not occur to him to ask for lodging. What a joke. He did not want to eavesdrop through Binghe's wall. The quality of the sleep he'd get was one thing, but whether Binghe would cut off his ears and boil them with tomorrow's noodles was entirely another. Ugh, but look at the sort of godly days Shen Qingqiu's living, then look at the sort I am. Then again, constantly comparing yourself to others will drive you to an early grave. Really, though, this is preposterous. Clearly I'm the author. I'm the world's divine creator deity. Can't you be a bit better to me? Love your author. Protecting authors is everyone's responsibility. Shang Qinghua, savoring the lingering taste of the only bowl of noodles his son had ever made, while using a piece of grass to pick his teeth, walked down the small path between the mountains. He walked and walked until his foot suddenly slid out from beneath him. There was a ravine next to the path, and Shang Qinghua had tossed his pitiful little sword, who knows where, long ago. If he fell down there, he wasn't flying back up. He burst out in a string of curses at himself. How can you slip when you're just walking on the road? You're not some female manga protagonist who comes with the supreme talent of tripping on flat ground. But when he sat down to look, he found neither an obvious banana peel nor a small tree root, only a tiny puddle. However, that puddle was frozen over. The short weeds all around it were also covered with a faint layer of frost. Shang Qinghua frantically rolled and crawled over to the closest rock face, his back against it as he sought out a bit of security. He had thought that spending too much time dilly-dallying and tempting death by not returning until Mobi-Jun came knocking was already the worst-case scenario. Then a certain person walked out from behind the craggy rocks and drooping vines, and Shang Qinghua finally discovered that things could be even worse. Well, well, look here. Who's this? Ling Guanjun said. Oh, fuck. Shang Qinghua laughed dryly. Right, who is this? Ling Guanjun patted the top of his head. Mobi-Jun nearly overturned the whole northern border looking for you. You sure know how to hide, huh? My lord is joking. Since when was I hiding? Right, I was also wondering. What's there to hide from? You performed such a meritorious service at the ice fortress last we met, but Mobe didn't even have the chance to reward you. I can't figure it out. Why did you run to this nothing place in the middle of nowhere? Oh, that was nothing, nothing, Shang Jinghua repeatedly waved his hands. That was nothing to do with me. That was all Mobe-jun relying on his own skill. Shang Jinghua was denying his role in fear that Ling Guanjun would assign him the greatest responsibility for his defeat at the ice fortress. But unexpectedly, upon hearing this, Ling Guanjun's face suddenly changed, and his tone turned harsh. Do you mean to say that without you, a lowly, shameless, treacherous Sangchong Mountain dog, to jump out and wreck all my good work halfway through, that this damned youngster could have defeated me all by himself? Yes is wrong. No is also wrong. Shang Jinghua bemoaned this injustice to the skies. How could he? Mobe-jun defeated you, my lord, only because he relied on a sneak attack. Are you mocking me? Shang Jinghua couldn't immediately respond. When he thought about it, oh, right, the one who he had performed the first sneak attack had clearly been Ling Guanjun himself. The wind had blown his piss right back onto him. No matter what he said, it was wrong. After clinging to people's thighs with such a subservient smile for decades, Shang Jinghua had at last encountered a character too difficult to flatter. He shut his mouth, a mournful look on his face. Ling Guanjun sneered. I have to leave at 6:45, so we're good. Ling Guanjun sneered. That little Mobe certainly never could have imagined. I would just casually run into the person he expended all his energy on finding to no avail. So I must use you well. My lord, if you want to catch me and use me to threaten Mobe-jun, it's completely useless, Shang Jinghua said hurriedly. I'll tell you the truth about why I ran away. In fact, at the fortress, while he couldn't move, I couldn't resist beating him up. And you know, that damn temper of his, with that kind of opportunity, it would be hard not to hit him, right? But after, there was nothing I could do. I was afraid he would retaliate, so I just ran. He's probably only looking for me because he wants to beat me in return. I don't have a mote of value in his eyes. At most, I'm a convenient attendant and punching bag. Ling Guanjun paused, then said impatiently, Why are you telling me all this? Do I look like the type of demon who'd do such a shameless thing? It's hard to say, ah? You weren't exactly upstanding when you sneak attacked Mobe-jun, Shang Jinghua said sincerely. You don't. Then, do I look like the type of demon to be that patient? That I don't know. Then, my lord, how do you want to use me? How will I use you? Ling Guanjun laughed. By killing you to vent my anger. Was that so very hard to understand? Shang Jinghua froze. That's not necessary. You'd just be wasting your resources. My lord, you can probably use me to threaten Mobe-jun or whatever. What a pity it would be to simply kill me. I don't have a mote of value in his eyes. At most, I'm a convenient attendant and punching bag. Who said that again? Humans have a saying, modesty is a virtue. Before he had finished the word virtue, Shang Jinghua threw out his hand, yelling, Behold my black sun, immortal fire! Numerous balls of roiling red flame shot through the air. Frightened, Ling Guanjun darted aside to dodge. However, the flames extinguished the second they hit the ground. It clearly wasn't Black Sun Immortal Fire, which was impervious to wind or water. That bastard Shang Jinghua was just tricking him! Ling Guanjun was enraged, now resentment fanning old hate. Casually brushing his hand over a dangling drop of dew on a drooping leaf, he aimed right at Shang Jinghua and attacked. Shang Jinghua only felt a chill in his calf before his leg had been shot through by an ice bullet so solidified by demonic energy. He couldn't have run even if he wanted, and he crashed to the ground with a thud. Ling Guanjun lightly pushed one foot into the kneecap of Shang Jinghua's other leg and pressed down. You're just like a cockroach, too good at running. I'll destroy your legs first. We'll see how you run then. Shang Jinghua didn't have any of the integrity required to remain unyielding in the face of destruction, and his soul nearly fled in a fright. My king! Speak of the king and he shall appear. An ink-blue silhouette fluttered into view like a specter. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I can't believe this. I cannot believe this. Two balls of black chi collided with a crack. Ling Guangjun clutched one of his legs, now broken at the knee, crazed with anger. You brat, do you have to show up so promptly? Can't you just wait a bit longer? Can't you wait to arrive until I've already brought down my heel? With a kick, Mobe-jun broke his other knee, then said coldly, I can't. Ling Guangjun was quite strong-willed. Both his knees had been pulverized into powder, but he didn't scream. Instead, he cursed his nephew out, all the more hysterically. You really are the seed of your frozen-faced father. You could have been like anyone. You had to be like him. Turtle and tortoise born in the same nest. He steals and so do you. He died early, so why can't you die early too? Fuck. Mobejun said, keep cursing and I'll send you on to keep him company. Shang Qinghua stared, tongue-tied, though he... One sec. Oh, so many people in our house, and no one goes to answer the doorbell. Everybody's having dinner, though they didn't hear it. Okay. Right at the good part. Okay, Mobejun said, keep cursing and I'll send you on to keep him company. Shang Qinghua stared, tongue-tied, though he knew Lang Wenjun had always nursed a deep resentment towards his older brother. He'd never thought it would be deep enough to make him wholly lose his poise and shout abuses in the street. Amidst Lang Wenjun's crazed curses, Mobejun casually flipped his hand and tossed him into the ravine. Falling down the ravine like that might kill a human, but a demon certainly wouldn't die. Shang Qinghua didn't remind him to pull the grass up by its roots. This was Mobejun's own uncle, and his father had doubtlessly told him that no matter what Lang Wenjun did, to be a bit indulgent with him. In truth, Shang Qinghua didn't want to remind Mobejun of anything at all. If he could let him forget Shang Qinghua's existence entirely, that would be better. Mobejun withdrew his gaze from the bottom of the ravine. Stop right there! Shang Qinghua, dragging a perforated calf, had been about to furtively slip away. He hadn't expected to be exposed until that shout, and he froze in place. Even a pervert caught red-handed wouldn't have had as guilty a conscience. He listened to the sound of Mobejun's footsteps treading across frost and cracking ice as he walked over, and he hurriedly covered his own face. Mobejun seemed to be in quite the temper today. He wasn't the least bit aloof. What are you doing? Didn't you say never let me see you again? Shang Qinghua asked awkwardly. There's no way for you to not see me now, so I'll just cover my face. Literally hiding behind his hands. Oh my gosh. Mobejun lifted his hand, and Shang Qinghua covered his head out of habit. Silence. Mobejun separated his two arms and straightened them at the end of his patience. If you let me see you do this sort of thing again, you won't be keeping your hands. There was just a hint of teeth-gnashing fury in his tone. Shang Qinghua reflexively wanted to cover his head again, but he managed to choke it down for the sake of this pair of hands, which had toiled so heroically as they typed on his keyboard. Struggling to hold it all in, he began to shake and shake. He shook until Mobejun said, Am I that frightening? Actually, not really, said Shang Qinghua. It's just that I always feel like you're going to knock me around a bit, my king. Before, the hitting or kicking, it was whatever, but now that you've officially succeeded to the throne, your cultivation cannot be compared to what it once was. You could make raging waves beat the shore or send stones flying to pierce the clouds with a single strike. I'm afraid I couldn't endure even a few of your hits. Shut up, said Mobejun. Follow me, come. Hi, Kyo, thanks for coming to stop in. Thank you so much for being a member for 8 months. Shang Xinghua threw caution to the wind and firmly threw himself on the stone wall like a lizard. I won't come. No, I want to leave. I want to return to my old home. If I let you hit me back, then will you not go? Mobei-jun asked. Especially if I stay to let you beat me up 3 times every day. I might as well. What? Hit him back? Let me hit him back? Mobei-jun is willing to let me hit back? In order to stop me from leaving, Mobei-jun is willing to let me hit back? This staircase of words cycled through Shang Xinghua's thoroughly shocked brain again and again. Mobei-jun lifted his chin, stiff and unmoving, emitting a bold aura of, hit me however you like, I won't retaliate. Nevertheless, he kept sneakily glancing at Shang Xinghua out of the corner of his eye. When Mobei-jun didn't see him move, even after a while, he seemed to suddenly grow happy. Although when he was happy, the only sign was that the tips of his eyebrows raised a touch higher. You're not gonna do it? He asked. Time's up. Fine. I won't let you hit me. Let's go. Wait a minute. I didn't say I wouldn't do it. Thought Shang Xinghua. There was a time limit? Mobei-jun, the tiny lift of his brow hiding that extremely covert hint of pleasure, dragged Shang Xinghua away and broke into a run. Shang Xinghua thereupon began to wail, Ow, fuck, that hurts, my king, take a look at me, take a look at me, take a look at me. Mobei-jun indeed looked at him, then looked at his bloody leg. After a moment of silence, he tried to carry Shang Xinghua on his shoulder. Shang Xinghua howled like he was dying. My king, spare me! My king, spare me! If you carry me like this the whole way, this leg of mine really will be ruined. Then what should I do? Mobei-jun asked. What about find me a doctor first? Shang Xinghua suggested, eyes filled with tears. With a click of his tongue, Mobei-jun turned and left. A gust of cold wind blew by the abandoned Shang Xinghua, dumbstruck like a wooden chicken. Had Mobei-jun just decided he was too much trouble? After some time, Mobei-jun returned, and he was dragging a handcart stolen from who knows where. The wooden chicken finally became a living chicken. The oh-so-mighty second-in-command of the demon race, noble and aloof chief of the icy Mobei clan, lowering his dignified self to drag a broken-down handcart that completely clashed with his image. This scene was amazing. Oh my god. Don't worry, guys. You don't need to remind me when to leave. It's all good now. With a chuckle, Shang Xinghua broke down again. At the sight of the blue veins faintly popping on Mobei-jun's forehead, he hurriedly knitted his brows and started crying out in pain. After he called to him a few times, Mobei-jun scooped him up and settled him on the top of the cart. Though he was sitting on a crooked and broken-down handcart, stolen off the old horse in some farming family's courtyard, a cart that was probably only used to carry things like fodder, firewood, and slop buckets, Shang Xinghua still puffed up in self-satisfaction as he emanated a majestic aura. Those not in the know might even have thought he was a scholar who, after 10 years of strenuous study, had achieved the status of Zhongyuan, first in the imperial examinations, and had bequeathed a marriage match from the emperor himself, and that he was now out with a procession of drums and gongs to receive his bride. This really was karmic cycle. The first time he had seen Mobei-jun, he had used a handcart just like this to ferry the unconscious demon to rent a room. Oh my god. Oh my god. For proof, a poem. 30 years the river flows east, 30 years the river flows west. Back and forth the handcart goes. Next year, it's my turn. Ha ha. The first 2 lines are from an idiom first recorded in The Scholars, a Qing dynasty satirical novel by Wu Jingzi, which describes the inconsistency of fate. The latter 2 lines are Shang Xinghua's own invention. Filled with a breezy, immortal air, Shang Xinghua declared, I want to eat noodles. Noodles. Cucumber salad! Thank you for your donation! And we have the full circle of Moshang. We do, and it's beautiful! We've got 2 pages left. That bowl of noodles from Binga really had been delicious, but it hadn't been enough. Binga hadn't saved more than a couple strands for him, so it hadn't satisfied. Said Mobei-jun. Pulled noodles, said Shang Xinghua. Okay. Having won an inch, Shang Xinghua asked for a mile. You make them. The handcart abruptly halted, and Mobei-jun stopped in place. A faint cold of unknown origin drifted over. Shang Jinghua was instantly terrified, and he contorted his face into a subservient expression. I'll make them. I'll make them. Of course. I'll make them. I was just joking. Alas, fantasy was so abundant, but reality was so wanting. After a while, the handcart wheels slowly began to turn again. Mobei-jun in front said without turning back, I'll make them. He's gonna make the noodles! Oh! I could cry. Oh. Silence. What had he said? What did you say? He said he'd make them? Who was this? Mobei-jun. And he was going to do what? Make pulled noodles? This Mobei-jun, who was willing to let Shang Jinghua hit back and willing to make him noodles. Had the stars aligned? He was striking it rich today. Shang Jinghua made a decision. He was going to take up his old profession again. The pen name, Airplane Shooting Towards the Sky, was going to rush boldly back into the fray. But what should he write? Shang Jinghua slapped his thigh. As he'd heard it, Sleeping Willow's flower, 81% discounted regret of Chunshan, was selling like hotcakes. Then he'd just go with the flow and write. Though he himself was upright, without compare. Where there were readers, there was a market. And if there was a market, he dared to write. Airplane Shooting Towards the Sky was the best at going with the flow. He'd just write whatever was popular. You couldn't go wrong with that. The first step would be to figure out a good title that would be well received by the masses, such as Secret Annals of Qingjing Peak, or My Disciple Can't Be This Cute, or How Lovely My Shizen, or something like that. He'd have to mull it over. His prose wasn't as good as Sleeping Willow Flowers, but that was alright. Airplane Shooting Towards the Sky had never sold because of his writing style. On top of that, Airplane Shooting Towards the Sky didn't like how Sleeping Willow Flower, the Three Holy Mothers, and the rest kept such tight focus. They wrote all kinds of stories, but in the end, they were only ever about Shen Qingqiu and Lo Binghe. Their scope was way too narrow. In fact, he saw it was entirely possible to be more daring and unbridled. For example, if you were calling it Regret of Chunshan, why limit yourself to one couple? With a beauty like Lo Qingge on hand, wasn't it just a pity to not write him? Yue Qingyan was also a beautiful fellow of noble bearing, accomplished in business and perfect spouse material. As for Mu Shidi, he and Wei Shishang both were basically idols in the eyes of the world. If you wrote a free-for-all sex scene and threw them into an orgy, you wouldn't have to worry that no one would read it. In short, as long as he was sufficiently explicit, depraved, and shameless, sooner or later he'd once again become the hegemon of this land's literati. He wouldn't even need to sell homemade soup to become a prosperous and dazzling entrepreneur. Airplane Shooting Towards the Sky propped up his legs, the handcart creaking and swaying along on the bumpy mountain road. The evening sun descended in the west, and Mobei-jun pulled him along, going in who knows what direction. This story was riddled with landmines, a whole chaotic mess with grade school level writing, and maybe the more serious writers would throw it down with the curse of, what dog shit is this? But Great Master Airplane Shooting Towards the Sky was used to making excuses for his own fraudulent behavior. He could throw out 1,000 "it's justs" to smooth things over. For example, it's just reading a novel. It's like living your life. Just have a good time. Why take it so seriously? It's just a silly novel. The author wrote for fun. Don't set your expectations too high, everyone, and please bear with me. It's just a brainless, satisfying read. Wake up. What did you expect to read? It was just that he really very much liked this story he had written. Oh, that's so cute. He's so happy. That's so cute that he is gonna keep writing too. That he found a way to like be a writer in this world. Like he's not gonna return. Oh my gosh. And he got himself a boyfriend in the end. It's so funny though because like in their world they're like real person shipping. So it's like I feel like he's writing K-pop fan fiction. Oh my god, that's so funny. He was like, I know what's gonna sell and I'm not afraid to write it. Oh my god. I love how much Mobei-jun was hurt by his actions. Like, you could really, really tell Mobei-jun liked him so much. Oh, he's such an idiot. And the fact that we got the comparison with the noodles and how like he saw Shenjing Cho and Bingha's perfect romantic life and wanted that, and then in the end he got it. Like, that's so cute. Damn, fucking MXTS getting us with like the last line in the extras. I feel like every extra chapter, the last line has been like so impactful. That was so cute. Is the next chapter the frickin' wine chapter? Oh, there's many more extras. Oh my god. That was so good. Yeah, don't miss the part where it says that Mobi-Jun was desperately searching for him when he was gone. Yeah, he said that he flipped over the whole border looking for him. I feel like Moshang has such a great basis for fics because it's set up to be a romance. Like, it's like the whole setting is there, but like you don't see them kiss and you don't see them like officially like get together or whatever. So it's like perfect for like fan fiction. Whereas like, you know, sometimes even say with like Hualien, it's like the story's already so perfect. Like, unless you're writing an AU or something, or something specific that's happening with them, but you can actually write the like getting together scene for them, which I really love. Chapter 29 is the wine. Okay. Kate says, don't get distracted by yaoi, you have hockey. Please let the power of fucking Moshang make me score a goal tonight. Okay, thank you guys so much for coming to hang out with me. And Kate, I think I saw that you said you finished your art. Everybody go follow Kate on Instagram. Catland Comics, right? Go follow Kate on Instagram. Quinn says, mint tastes like cold, so Mobe lips taste like mint. Change my mind. Oh, I love that. And thank you for donating. I'm going to channel the energy of Mobe-Jun for hockey and then come up with the best hockey AU ever. Dearsy, thank you for your donation as well. Have fun and win for us if you can. Oh, thank you. I won't be able to stream Wednesday or Thursday, so we're going to have to do some Scum Villain maybe. Sunday is Father's Day. I'm not sure when we'll be able to do it again. I'll have to let you guys know. But Friday, we'll have a members-only game night stream, and I'm sure a lot of the prompts will be Moshang related. Okay, I gotta go. Okay, I love you guys. Bye!